But that's all right. That's all right. Let me wait till y'all come back in again. Let me wait till y'all come back in, and we can go ahead and start this digitizing process right here. All right. Wow. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know how this video is gonna get shared out, but I'm gonna wait till I see some people commenting, and then I will go ahead and start. But yeah, I do have some videos already on the channel pertaining to digitizing. So if you are interested in learning how to digitize, just go ahead and check those videos. Just search for those videos, type in A-Dubb Productions digitizing, and you guys will see those videos up on the channel. Let me turn my monetization on because I'm trying to get paid for this. Forget that. You know, I've been doing a lot of videos for y'all over the years, and you know what I mean, boy ain't been getting paid. I use bills too. Anyway, so I'm gonna get started in a second. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna be using Chroma Luxe to digitize, and this is for a potential client right here. I just got a call a little while ago, and they want a actual prototype of what the design is gonna look like. I'm pretty confident they're gonna go with me, just because there's nobody else is going to do it in a short amount of time as they're requesting. All right, and I can get this done fast because I have multiple heads for the specific job. The job is only for like a couple of tote bags, like 10 tote bags. Small logo is going to go on them. So yeah. All right, do you ever use the magic wand? Yeah, the magic wand is, I don't use that when I digitize, but that is a tool that you can use. I'll show you guys that briefly if you want to look at that. But I'm not going to go too in depth because I need to get this done. I want to get this embroidered, and I want to get this to the client. All right, so let's just jump into Chroma Luxe. What's going on, Teresa? Thank you so much. What's going on, Lot, Winston? And as you guys are coming in, just let me know where you guys are tuning in from. All right, and your experience and what digitizing software you use. So let's jump into the software right now. Okay, so this is Chroma Luxe. This is Chroma Luxe. This is what I use to digitize 90% of the time. So all I did was go open up a new workspace and start up a new job right here. All right, and this was the magic wand tool that you're talking about right over here, and it's only available if you select certain tools. You can use the magic wand tool when you hold on. First, I got to bring something on work plane. So let me go ahead and bring my design up here. I'm going to hit the artwork tool. I'm going to go to where my design lives, where I saved it at, and I'm going to open it up. All right, boom. And there it is right here. I know my client wants it to be about 3 inches, so I'm just going to go ahead and space this out. And I'm just doing the inside part. And right now I'm going to take my measuring tool and see how, let me see what's wider. What's bigger, the top or bottom? That's about 3.7, a little bit. And this is about 4. Okay, so it's wider than it is tall. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and go ahead and try to get it to be as close to what the client wants as possible, because that's what I want to digitize. So I'm gonna go from here and here and try to measure. I want it to be about 3.5. That's what I'm gonna do. I have a little bit of room to play around with this design, so I'm just scaling it down just a little bit. All right, and grab the ruler tool again and go ahead and measure it out. Okay, so I mean, that's close. Make it a little bit bigger still, just a little bit. All right, and I'm gonna start working from here. All right, so about 3.5, a little bit over 3.5. That's cool. All right, so the magic wand tool. Okay, so when you're digitizing, you got, I already went over this in other videos, but you got the running tool, you got the steel stitch tool, you got the satin, the classic satin, and you got the complex fill. I don't typically use the satin input satin tool, but certain tools you can select and you can use the magic wand tool. I don't like to use the magic wand tool because I don't think it gives you a good enough finish. But as you play around with these tools right here, you can see the magic wand tool appeared. So if I click that, it's not available. If I click this, it is available. If I click this, it is available. All right, so certain tools you can use the magic wand tool for. And what it does is it just goes ahead and digitizes it for you. So for example, if I click the a complex fill rather, and I hit the magic wand tool, I can just click on here and it just digitizes that. Hit enter a few times and there it is. For you guys to see it better, I can go ahead and click the button so you guys can see that I changed the color, and there it is right there. Now, although it works, like I said, I don't use it because I mean, there are ways that you can use it, and you can I can re-edit that file, and it's just easier for me to just do it manually myself. All right. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to look at my design and strategize and figure out what I'm going to do and what's going to make sense for the design. So what I think is going to make sense for the design is I'm going to do this line right here first, followed up by doing this line, right? And this is going to go over top of both of those lines. Then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go ahead and put those little accents on. Or maybe yeah, no, I'm going to go this, I'm going to go this, I'm going to do these two, right? And then I'm going to drop those down. And the reason why I'm doing that is to just looking at design and deciding how, visualizing in my head how it's going to look like when I embroidered it, and how when I embroider it and how I want it to come out. So that's what you got to kind of like determine. All right, so let me read the comment. Watching you from Vegas, just purchased my machine, waiting for a trainer. Cool. Congratulations on that. Chroma inspired purchase. Cool. I hope you use my affiliate link. Oh, look at this guy, Mr. Shajib Mai. We'll talk about him later. What's going on, man? Where you from? All right, so let's start this process. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use, I could use a steel stitch tool, or I could use a classic satin tool. It's only gonna be 3 inches, 3.5 inches wide, so this is gonna be a fairly quick and easy digitizing. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the steel stitch. I can go ahead and wait. I still got this magic wand selected, and with the steel stitch, I could just go ahead and do this line right here, bring it up right here, enter. All right, and then I can go this line right here to this line right here and enter. I don't want to do that though. All right, I'm going to show you guys how I like to do it. All right, so I'm going to delete this, and I'm also going to delete that, and I'm going to go ahead, and I love to use my classic satin right here. So I'm going to go ahead and change the color right there. Okay, boom. I want to start off with the black. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to hit the space bar so I can bring up the hand, so I can go ahead and zoom in to where I want to zoom in at. So I'm going to go boom, boom. With the classic satin stitch, you can you have to select side by side next to each other. I explained that before in detail in previous videos. All right, and then I go boom, line that up, boom, enter. All right, so now I got that first line right there. Now what I like to do when I start my digitizing is I like to go ahead and set my precedence as to how I want my stitches, because right now the default is 3.5 inches wide. That's my stitch length, and this is my density. Density is how much thread the design is putting down, the machine is going to put down. I'm going to keep mine about 35 or 34 in this instance, all right, for my density. And I'm going to change my stitch length, because this is real thin right here. I'm going to change the stitch length to let's put it 2. All right, I think that's cool right there. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab my tool again, and I'm going to start up here this time. All right, and wait, I'll show you in a second. Now I'm going to go here, go ahead down, and now I can get that angle. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here. All right, so now I got that right there, boom. And I also have to change this because it didn't save my settings yet. 3.34.2.0. Okay, so I'm gonna change that to 34 and change that to 2.0 right there, boom. All right, so another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select that, and I'm gonna go ahead over here, and I'm gonna go change my end command to trim, because once it goes from here, I want it to trim the thread and go over here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do these two right here. So now I got more decisions to make. All right, because I know I'm not going to do both of them all in one. So do I want to do this and then I want to embroider this, or do I want to do this and then embroider that? What would look better? I'm thinking that it will look better if I come from here and go over here and I can stop like about right here, then I can pick it up right here. All right, so let me show you guys what that looks like. All right, using my, once again, the classic satin. With the classic satin, the way you make the stitches is you gotta click side by side. All right, have the lines next to each other. All right, now if I want to go around in a circle, I'm gonna hold my finger on command, and that's gonna help me go around corners. All right, it's gonna create curves. All right, but I kind of messed that up. 1 second, let me delete that. All right, you'll see in a second as I'm starting to do this one right here. All right, so once again, I'm going to use a classic satin for this specific one right here. I'm going to zoom in a lot so I can get nice in and close. Now I'm going to go a little bit, start a little bit inside. I'm going to go here, here. Now I got my finger on command, so I'm going to start my curve here, 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 here. All right, boom, cooking on gas, getting that done. All right, now this is another reason why I don't do digitizing tutorials, because people say they want to see them, but when I make them, a lot of people don't watch them, because guess what? It's not exciting to watch somebody digitize at all. At all. In the chat, is it expensive? How much density do you use? So as far as density, the density that you use, I just showed you that, but the density that you use varies from design to design. It depends on how small your design is, how big your design is, right? If your design is real big, it depends on, so first of all, let's talk about what density is. Density is how much thread your machine is putting down. So say if you got a circle that's like this big, if you make it dense, that means it's going to use more thread to fill in that space. If you raise the number up, then it's going to reduce the density and it's going to put down less thread, which means in turn your design could be transparent. You could see that fabric in behind it. The more dense you make it, the more you hide that fabric. But also, if you make it too dense, you could get bird nesting, or you could create puckering in your fabric because your design is laying down too much thread. Your machine is laying down too much thread. Another thing that can happen is it's all types of different variables. Your machine can struggle doing the design if it's too dense, bird nesting, thread breaks, a lot of stuff. So you gotta, once you start digitizing, then you'll kind of get a feel of what design needs what. Now see how this is off a little bit? I'm gonna move that down. So I'm gonna grab this right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and hold down command so I can click on the outline right here, and then I'm going to take these 2 points and I'm going to move them down just a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to go from here to here with my, oh wait, oh shoot, I didn't even show y'all that, I'm sorry. What I did was I selected this and I clicked on this tool right here, which enables you to adjust the points. I command clicked and I went to edit outline, and that brought up these. I selected them and I moved this from here to down here more on the line. All right, so that's what I did just now. Now I'm gonna grab my classic satin again. All right, and I'm going to spacebar and move so to a point where I can see it. And actually, let me adjust that a little bit more. I don't like the way that's looking right there. Sorry, boom. Oh, 1 second. Command click. All right, edit outline. And I'm actually going to do something like that. Bring this one down a little bit. I'm going to curve this one up just a little bit. All right, that's more like it. All right, now let's start digitizing again. We're going to go here. And then we're going to start a little bit on the inside so there's no gaps. Boom, boom. All right, I'm holding down the command button so I can start going around that turn right there. Boom, 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 boom. All right, space bar, and shift down a little bit, come back in. Space bar, shift down, command, click. If you guys want to know more specific stuff, as far as digitizing is concerned, you're gonna have to join the channel, because I'm gonna put these videos that I'm making right now, they're only gonna be live for a certain amount of time before I make them only available to channel members. All right, because you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes in these YouTube streets. So if you caught this video live, then you caught this video live, and you are in good shape, and you won't need to see it again. All right. So another thing is, notice how I'm kind of putting the dots side by side. In some instances, I'm curving, and that's all for a reason. And at the end, I let go of command, so it's not creating a curve anymore. It's just a straight line. Boom, boom, and then boom. All right. So now I'm gonna go to the other side, like I said, and I'm gonna do this little B right here. The good part about the B is I only have to do it one time. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. All right, so let me start that. Let me zoom in, and what I can do, is, why is it not giving me my hands? Okay, there you go. What I can do in order to see this, which I don't need to see, is I can go ahead and I can go. I know that's this one, and I can go ahead and I could go ahead and make it so you can't see it like that. All right, but I'm not going to do that because it's not really necessary. You can hide it. All right. So let me go ahead and start and knock this out real fast. So I'm going to go here, start a little bit inside, like I always do, about right there. Wait, a little bit more, about right there, and right there. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that afterwards. And then right here, holding down command this time to start that circle going. All right, start that curve going. Boom, 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 boom. Now I got those curves going. If I let go of command while I'm clicking, it won't give me any curves. It'll give me a straight line. But I'm holding down the command button. And now when I come to the end, I can go ahead and I can just go ahead and release the curve, release the command button. Just click here and click here. Then that's done with that. Now what I can do is, since I have this already and the bottom is just a same thing, is I can go ahead and I can Command C, Command V. Now I got two of them. I'll just grab one and I'll just put the other one down here and see if it matches up, which is not going to, clearly. So I'm gonna have to do that over again, which is not a big deal. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, boom. I'm gonna zoom in real fast, do that over again. Boom, 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 boom. Also, guys, full disclosure, on AlanAwade.com right now, if you don't want to do none of this stuff because it is tedious, especially depending on how complex the design is, it takes a long time to digitize. I'm just a little bit experienced, and I digitize a lot for people, not only for my clients, but for you guys too. If you guys hit me up for digitizing, typically you guys would email me at adubbproductions@gmail.com to do your digitizing. You send me a design, I come back with a price quote. But right now on the website, adubbproductions.com or AlanAwade.com, ALLANAwade.com, you can type in digitizing in the search bar, and I have an actual quote thing on there, so you can go ahead and hit request a quote. Just follow the instructions, fill in the blanks, upload your design, press request a quote. I get the ding on my phone. I look at your design. I tell you how much it's going to be to digitize it. I send you back an invoice. You pay it if you want it done. You don't pay it if you don't want it done. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. You said, couldn't you just copy that B, then flip it? I mean, no, I'll tell you why. When you said copy it and flip it, that doesn't make any sense. But there's one B right there, and I could have I could have grabbed that and put it on this side and flip it. Yeah, but that's not a B, that's an R. But I didn't. So there's more than one way to skin a cat whenever you're doing this stuff, guys. So there's no rules. Whatever works for you works for you. And if you want to try things and see if there's a better way to do it, then by all means, that's what you do. So I deleted those. There's no set in stone way of doing anything at all. All right. So even if I say no, if you see something that you can do, you go ahead and do it. Right. But this is just stuff that I like to do. that I get the best results, but by all means, when you're digitizing, you can do it any way you want to. This is just showing you how I do things, and you know, that's that. All right, so boom, boom, come around. So don't be afraid to experiment, because you have to experiment. I let go of the command, boom, boom, and we're done. All right, so what I was thinking of while I was doing this is I actually want these two to be underneath here. So I'm gonna look and see where this is. Actually, I'm gonna grab my selection tool and I'm gonna select that so I know where it is. It's my first one. So I know before my first one, I actually want these two, which is my last two, to be before it. So I'm gonna select these two and I'm gonna bring them up here. So they're so they can be moved underneath it. All right, so let me do that again. Boom, boom, bring them up. All right, is it doing it? No, it's not. I do one at a time. It's not even doing it, bro. Give me a second. Let me bring that up here. Bring that up here. Then move this down here. All right, so now they're underneath. All right, so we got this one is first, which I don't want that to be first. I want this to be first. So I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this down. All right, so now the top one is first. The bottom one is second. And then I do my line. Then this should be my line in the middle. Then it's gonna do the thing on the side right here. Right, that's this one right here. Then it's gonna do the R, the bottom of the R. Then we're just gonna put on our two brackets, and that's pretty much it. See how easy it is to digitize that? All right, so I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm gonna do the middle one first, and followed up by the other one. All right, so boom, grab that. Don't make this more complicated than it has to. It's a lot of things that you can do, but you know, whatever it is that you're familiar with. And I'm still gonna use a classic satin because that's what I want to use for this. All right, so now this one is a little tricky because it's not like, all right, matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, yeah, there we go. So now I can see what I'm doing better. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to boom, boom. I'm going to come in to about right here. I'm going to go another boom, boom. I'm going to keep on going all the way down, side by side. Boom, boom. And move this all the way down. I'm gonna come in right here. See how this has this little groove? I don't know if they want that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and include it. All right, because that's how their logo is. So it curves in a little bit. Then it comes, yeah, then it comes in. Let me think of something real fast. I'm gonna go. This is coming in now. Boom, boom, yep. Boom, boom, and then right here. All right, so we got that. And the last one is to just do this one at the top, which from top to bottom, this is gonna go boom, 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 boom. And we are digitized. Let me uncheck that, and we are all digitized right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything, and after every single cut, command all, after every single cut, every single stitch, I want it to trim. All right, so my thing is nice and neat, and I'm just going to look at the density of this right here. That's 40. I said I want it to be 34, so 0.34, and I want that to be 2.0 because that's what I want. All right. After you do this a couple times, the software starts to remember. Like if your design is longer, the software starts to remember what your settings are. All right. And that's okay. Once again, 34, enter, and 2.0. All right. This one right here. All right, I want this to be 34, and that could stay at 3.0. All right, same for this one. 34 and 3.0. It's a little bit thicker stitch. All right, so that's pretty much it for this digitizing right here. Let me just click around and look at my settings. Also, what you can adjust depending on how big your letters are. You can change the parallel stitch, which is the underlay, to a center line, or sometimes when I'm doing oh my gosh, y'all didn't see none of that. Jeez Louise, this is silly. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm gonna do that over again. Sorry about that. .rde. All right, I'm gonna call this boat. .rde. Why didn't y'all tell me I wasn't on thing? Why didn't? Jeez, please. All right, where did I leave off at? All right, I'm gonna delete all of this right here, because I think y'all didn't catch any of this right here. All right, delete. No, I had that right there. And matter of fact, I'm gonna Command Z. Let me Command Z a bunch of times. Let me Command S real fast and Command. You know what? I'm gonna export the .dst too. Let me see something real fast. Export, because this is just for y'all at this point. Save as. In Chroma, you have to physically type in what you want to save it as. I'm gonna save the DST file. All right, so I'm gonna undo a bunch of that. All right. I think I left off right here. Something about right there. I don't know what happened, guys. That's me trying to talk to y'all and trying to do this multi-camera switching at the same time while I'm talking to you, and obviously it's not working. All right, so all right, boom. So all right, we did this, we did that. Now what I did was I came over here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my classic satin stitch. All right, I zoomed in. I'm gonna start off just off of my thing, just so it overlaps a little bit. I'm gonna just regular click. Now I got my finger on command, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna click, and instead of getting squares, I'm getting circles. And I'm gonna click and click right across, and click right across, and now you're seeing how it curves instead of going straight. Click. All right. Jeez Louise. Repeat. All right. Boom, boom, and I'm gonna come into about right here. I'm gonna take my finger off of the command, and I'm just gonna click and click. All right. So what I said originally was the way I want to embroider is I think this line should be over top of this. So I'm gonna change that at the end. So I'm gonna space bar, move this just a little bit, and click right here on the inside. Regular click. See how that's a square. Let me zoom in. See how that's a square right there, and this is a square right here. Now, when I go over here, I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna hold my finger on command. Actually, I could still put another just a regular click because that's kind of like a straight line. All right, regular click for straight line. Hold your finger down on command for the circles for it to start curving. All right, so I got my finger down on command. I'm gonna click. See how it's a circle now, right? All right, but it's not curving yet. It's not gonna start curving until the second click, the second series of clicks. And watch how this turns into a curve now. Click, and then click. See how I curved it? All right, there you go. All right, so now, and if I wanted it to be more of a curve and curve on this path, I'm just going to delete a little bit, and I'm going to start my curve just a little bit earlier, so it can start curving just a little bit earlier. All right. See how that took more of the shape of the actual design? All right, there we go. You just got to learn the characteristics, how long you can go, and stuff like that when you're digitizing. All right. Zoom out a little bit. Command, click to keep my circles. All right. Command click to keep my circles right there. Boom, boom. Keeping my circle still, and then closing it off right here. All right. Now what I said was, like I said, I want these to be underneath this line right here. So these are the last two I did right here. So I'm going to go ahead and move those up. If I can grab both of them, I'll shift click and grab both of them. I'm going to bring them up right here. And they're right after this line. I'm going to bring this line down after both of them. So now I got the top one, and you can tell by selecting what I got. And I got the bottom one, right? And then this line is next. It's going over top of both of them. That's going to look better digitizing, right? And now I'm going to make these two lines right here, and that's going to go over top of this and go over top of that and go over top of the edges of these. And that's how I feel is going to look like the best way when it embroiders out. I'll answer your question in a second. Give me a second right here. Let me finish this up. All right, so I'm going to hide everything, right? I'm going to click on that so I can hide everything, and then I'm going to start digitizing up here. And the reason why I'm hiding everything is so that I can see better. I just want to see this top part specifically better, because if I have it on, I can't really see what this is really doing and when it's starting to come in. I can visualize it with my eyes, kind of sort and go over it, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn it off. All right, so I'm going to grab my tool again, my classic satin. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to go in about right. I'm going to go in about right here. All right, and then I'm going to go in right here. These are all regular clicks, by the way. Then I'm going to come in right here. And come in right here. And I'm going to space bar, go all the way down. And I'm going to start right here. Click right here. And right here. It's got a little divot going in, so I'm going to keep that as part of the design. And I'm going to come in right here. And right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here and right here. Alright. Enter, enter. And there we go. There we have it. As a matter of fact, I kind of like that to come all the way down. So let me go ahead and click this right here. I'm just going to change a few points. Let me just command click on the edge, command click, edit, outlines, bring this in. And I'm just going to go ahead and, command click, add point. I'm going to add a point right there. And just add a point right there. And I'm going to shape the point to be like this. All right, so that's cool right there. All right, cool. And I'm going to bring this line. These little arrows, and these are angle lines. They indicate like which direction the stitches are going to go in. All right. So, boom, that's done. So now we're going to do this one, which is the most simplest one right here. So I'm just going to go click up here, come all the way down, click down here, and then we're done with the whole design. And so I'm going to unclick, unhide everything else, and we see everything else. All right. So this is how our design is going to be right here. As you guys can see, this is going underneath that line, very neat. This is going underneath this line right here, very neat, and so on and so forth. That's underneath there, you know, and so on and so forth. And what I did finally was I went ahead and I clicked on the individual pieces, and I know that I wanted this to be 2.0 and 34. So that's what I was doing with the last part. All right, this is 2.0, 34, 2.0, 34. So I'm just going to change all those so all of my settings are the same as far as my stitches, my density, and my stitch lengths are all the same. All right, 2.0 and 34. And how I come up with these numbers, just by knowing, it's based off of the size of your image. 3.0 and 34 and 30. Wait. Select that. Oh, shoot. Boom. Boom. 34 3.0. Apply. And what I did was, again, I highlighted everything, or you can hit Command A. And then I went over here and I changed all of them so they all have a trim after it's done embroidering that area. So it's going to embroider the first one, trim, embroider the second one, trim, embroider the third one, trim, and trim all in between my design right here. And this is pretty much done. I'm going to embroider it out. If I don't like anything, I could change it and stuff like that. But pretty much most of the time these days when I'm embroidering, I'm pretty much one and done, because I've been doing this for so long, and I embroider for so many different people that I'm pretty, whenever I know how the machine is going to act. I know what to type in depending on what the design is. If it's like colors on top of colors, I know when to put holes and stuff like that. It's all just going to come with experience and over time. But let me read some of your questions. Oh, you said my picture and pictures in the way. Oh yeah, when I had it zoomed in. Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Question: can you highlight the cursor to make it easier to follow? Oh, yeah, I could have did that, but yeah, I didn't. But I zoomed in, so yeah. Okay, so is that Rome's reviews? Rome's reviews. Are you? No, that's somebody else. Okay, my bad. Rome's reviews. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'll do that in the next video or something like that. All right, I promise. I'll do that in the next video so I can highlight so you can see the clicks. Are we supposed to see the screen? And what are you doing? Okay, I guess that's when I couldn't see the screen. Okay, you were on a groove with the boom, 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 free purple. Your picture and pictures in the way. Question. Okay, so that concludes my digitizing tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you. And yeah, I was just reading some comments right there. So yeah, the guy MD Shijab Mai. I don't know how you pronounce his name. This guy right here. I'll put his name up on the thing. All right, so sir, you've been commenting on several of my videos, and this is just a guy, and he's asking me, he's telling me my views are down. You know, my video quality is good. I'm not getting a lot of views on my channel, and he basically wants to optimize my channel so I can get more views and more traction. But let me tell you guys to make videos this, right? 90% of the time, and I'm not talking from experience because this hasn't happened to me, but I've heard it happen to other YouTubers. 90% of the time, these people that message you and ask you, hey, I'm going to help your channel grow. Hey, I'm going to help you get subscribers. Don't do it. Don't do it, because they're going to get you fake subscribers. They're going to spam your channel with bots. You know, not saying that every one of them is like that, but do your due diligence, right? And so you ever seen somebody trying to teach something that didn't work for them, or that doesn't work for them? Okay, so I went to MD Shajib's channel, YouTube channel, and he has no videos on there, and he has like 2 or 3 subscribers on his channel, right? Let me take you off because, you know, the promotion. So typically when people are teaching Instagram growth videos or YouTube growth videos, that's because they had a channel that they grew. They have several channels that they grew. But this guy's telling me, yeah, you know, I work with so-and-so, I work with so-and-so. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is it's easy to say something. It's easy to just talk online. But when it's time to show and prove, people can't do it. They can't do it. You know what I mean? So I do my due diligence. Like, you're not going to type in anything and tell me, oh, this is better than this. This is better than this. I'll be going on people's pages, and I'm like, oh, well, how do you know? And I look and see the videos that they post. I'm like, half the time, like, you don't even have any machines. Dude, you're a carpenter. Or like, you work at Walmart. You have no idea what's going on here. And granted, some people might not post their stuff, but no, you're not going to come and give me any advice on anything and tell me how to do anything if you can't show and prove, period, right? And I'm always looking to listen to people, but I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to listen to valid sources. And if, you know, I find that you're not a valid source, I'll hear what you have to say, but I'm not going to follow your advice because I'm doing better than you. You know what I mean? According to what I'm seeing online, you know what I mean? So it makes no sense. But just be cautious with these types of people, because you'll end up with your channel taken away, or you'll end up with you know, your channel stolen from you. Because I've watched videos with people getting their YouTube channel stolen and stuff like that too. All right, let me see if anybody typed anything. Enlarge and yeah, hit the like button, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. And guys, I have, if you look in the channel, I do have videos on how to digitize. I have more videos. I want to adjust one thing right here that's bothering me right here. On this specific part, I'm going to click on right here, right in the upper left-hand corner. And that's going to bring up the attributes of that specific item. I'm going to hover so I get this little arrow thing. And I'm going to command click. I'm going to hit edit outlines. That's going to bring the outlines, and I'm just going to bring this in a little bit because I don't like the way it is currently. I'm just going to bring these dots in because that's bothering me right there. Bring these points in just a little bit. Got to grab the actual point. Just going to bring that in. That's just been looking at me this whole time. See how it's a nice straight line now? That's what I'm talking about. That looks way better for me. That was, the whole time I was talking, that was just bothering me right there. It was just bothering me. I'm like, That's how you can tell, like, somebody that knows what they're doing versus somebody that, you know, just pretend digitizer. You know, and I will say this, guys. My confession, right? So, valid number. Could be a client. Give me a second, guys. A-Dubb Productions, how can I help you?
Hi,
Check. All right, guys. That was somebody calling. I don't know. They go to my Google business page and they get my phone number and they call me trying to offer digitizing services. And that's so interesting because I was just about to talk to you guys about digitizers in general. Okay. So this is my experience with digitizers that might hit you up on social media. Out of every 50 digitizers that you use, you're probably going to find one good one. And then eventually that good one will become bad because they operate on volume, right? They make money on volume instead of pricing appropriately. They'll price quote you something cheap, and they'll do it and they'll know what they're doing. But then when more and more people start to use them, they'll start giving, you know, they have teams. These people have teams and they'll hand out. You'll never get a digitizing that's like super consistent. I've tried to use digitizers before, and two things happen. I'm always adjusting their designs to the point where I might as well just digitize it myself. The second thing that happens is I'm trying to get them to do something and they don't know how to do it, so I end up teaching them how to do their job. And I'm showing them techniques and tricks that they don't even know how to do in the software. So again, I might as well do it myself. But anyway, that's my experience with digitizers. Not to say that all of them are like that, but that's just been my personal experience with digitizers. All right, so yeah, choose wisely and consider, you know, if you need something done, hit me up. Go to adubbproductions.com or allenawade.com, same website. Type in digitizing. Use my price quote pop-up thing. Select price quote, fill in the information, upload your design, send it to me. I'll shoot you out a price quote, and we'll go from there. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for bearing with me here while I fumble through this. I was trying to do it real fast because now I'm going to take this to the machine, embroider it out, send it to my client, so they can say, yes, I'm going to go with you. No, I'm not going to go with you. And I already know what it's about to be. So, yeah, you guys will see it in the stories. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me, A-Dubb Productions on Instagram. If you're not following me here, make sure you guys follow the channel. What are you doing? You're here watching the video, but you're not following. You crazy? All right, so stay tuned. I'm going to go live again a little bit in a little while, but I got to digitize this out. Oh, yeah. We'll talk in the next live, guys. Stay tuned. Talk to you later. Peace.